New year, first paycheck, same old bills. In today's video, I'll be doing my first paycheck budget for 2026 in the newly updated Finance Master Plan Digital Finance Planner. Happy New Year, my friend, and welcome back to your safe and cozy corner for digital planning and zero-based budgeting, and I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new, welcome. I'm Gina Marie, and I'm obsessed with all things digital planning using my handy-dandy iPad. If you like these Budget With Me videos, hit subscribe and comment your number one money goal for 2026. I'm curious because I want to know what we're all working on together. Quick reminder, I'm budgeting zero-based, which basically means income minus expenses equals zero. That does not mean there's $0 left in your account. It just simply means you have $0 that are unassigned. Every dollar has to get up in the morning and go do a damn job. And that job honestly can be whatever you assign it to do, whether it's paying bills, for me, going to sit its behind down in savings, or being invested for your future self. So let's go ahead and get into this zero-based budget. So hitting up January, this is my monthly spread that I went ahead and filled in with all my work shifts, my paydays, as well as my bills and the amounts that are due. Okay, so this is my first paycheck for 2026. I'm going to go to week one because I am paid bi-weekly. So I'm just going to hit up paycheck number one. And the pay date for this paycheck is January 9th. Today is January 7th. I do get paid 2 days early due to the bank that I have. And they deposit the funds into my checking account 2 days early. So the funds have already been deposited. So I'm not going to do the budget column. I'm just going to go ahead and fill in actual because I already have the money. And y'all know I'm left-handed, so I just got to tilt this iPad all the way. So for this paycheck, it's for 24 hours worked. And after tax, it is $669. And then right now in my checking account, I have $4.72 that was left in there as a buffer. I will be rolling that over and applying it to my savings categories. $4.72. And let me just go ahead and do the total for that really quick. Y'all already know. Math is not my subject, so I'm not going to sit here and try to do it in my head because it'll be wrong as hell. So where is my calculator? It is a total of $674 is what I have to work with this week until I get paid next week from my other job, which is my part-time. Well, they're both part-time. This job right here that I am budgeting for right now is every 2 weeks. So my other job is every week. All right, so we have $674 that we are working with. I have adopted the philosophy of save first, spend the rest. So I start with my savings category instead of going to my fixed bills. I start with savings and investing. For quarter one, my goal is to save $900. So I'm going to be adding $50 plus that $472 that I'm rolling over from last month into my solutions fund. And that's just what I call my emergency fund. And although the saving amount for this paycheck is small, I want pretty much to just lock in the habit. Normally I save a little bit more than this, but something has to get saved this week. I can't save what I normally save this paycheck, but I will be getting back to it next week. So I just want to make sure I save something so I can create that habit and have it locked in. So I am budgeting for, and I always round up. I don't do change. When you put change into your budget, most of the time it gets kind of, I like to just round up, and that sometimes even creates a little buffer in your account because you're rounding up. So let's see. So it's $55 that I'll be putting into my solutions fund / emergency fund. And then I have SF is for sinking funds and then savings challenges. I have a couple that I am doing this quarter. I will show those to you later on in the video. But for this paycheck, I do want to start off right and make sure that I put something in there in both of these categories, both of these, the sinking funds and saving challenges, just to start them off right for the year and get into the swing of things. So I am going to budget, $15 for sinking funds. So 15, and I'm going to do $15 for savings challenges as well. Okay, so I'll just total that up real quick. So 55, 10, 55 and 15, 30. So that'll be 85. 85. Actually, I did it in my head. Look at me. I hope that's right because look at me doing math in my head. So starting off with savings right off the rip, I'm going to be saving $85 this paycheck. Of course, my solution fund / emergency fund is in a high yield savings account because I need all my new and OG digital and budgeting besties to know that over here in our nice little cozy corner of digital planning and zero-based budgeting, we always use high yield savings accounts for both short-term and long-term savings. Because honestly, I just feel like that interest that you get, it's like free money and it helps you to grow your emergency fund or whatever you're saving for. If it's a short term or long term, just try to make sure that it's in a high yield savings account. I currently have Capital One and I just opened up a SoFi, I believe. Yeah, SoFi, they have 4% for their interest over at SoFi. So this is not sponsored or anything like that, but let's just make sure that we're saving our money and making it work for us. Okay, so it's Editing Gina here. I wanted to come in and give a little bit more clarification on the SoFi High Yield Savings Account interest rate. So as of January 10th, 2026, their current interest rate for their high yield savings account is 3.3%. But if you open a account before January 31st, 2026, depending on when you're seeing this, you can get a boosted 0.70% on top of the 3.3% to equal 4% interest rate for your high yield savings account. And it's only for 6 months though. But within that 6 months, you could just do a money grab on the interest. Just build up your emergency fund, deposit as much as you possibly can. Disclaimer though, this is only with direct deposits, I believe. You get the boosted 0.70% if you sign up with direct deposits, which will probably be the smart thing to do because you want to automate your savings. You want to make sure that you take yourself out of it, make it something that you don't have to think or worry about, make that money go there first. And it's like you never even got it. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and get into the Peter and Paul's of my life. We're going up to fixed expenses. Because once I'm done with savings, then comes my bills, the Peter and Paul's. And anything that is due before my next payday is going to get paid with this paycheck. So I split my rent up amongst, multiple paychecks. So I already saved some from last month. So from this paycheck, I am only taking $400. And then I have my internet, which is, I'm rounding up again, it's $38. I did get to lower my internet. I was paying $106. And I told you I wasn't going to be doing that for too long. Like I did it for 3 months. I was mad that I even paid it for that long. I did get them to finally get it lowered back to what I was previously paying, but they do owe me a little retro, so that's why it's only $38 this month, or $37 and some change. I'm rounding up, so it's $38. And then starting next month, it goes up to I think like $65 a month for the internet. Yes, it's around there somewhere. So just for this month, I have to pay $38. Remember, budgeting is very personal, but I do put my groceries in my fixed expenses because I spend the same amount on groceries all the time. Like me and my husband, we go back and forth. Like he does 1 week, I'll do 1 week. And I also put my car gas in here too, because personally, I just feel like regardless of what's going on, just like how my rent has to get paid and these fixed bills have to get paid, I need to eat and I need to have gas to go to work to make this money. So I need to make sure that there's always something in my budget that I can get my groceries and my gas. And like I said, my groceries, it doesn't really vary. Like I spend the same amount. Like we eat pretty much the same thing all the time. So I spend between like 120 to 150 a week on groceries, and whatever I don't spend out of it, I'll just, put it into savings, investing, or put it towards debt. But this week, I really don't need to spend that much, even the 150, because my husband did do some really big grocery shopping last week. He went bigger than what we normally do. I don't know why he went so hard. So I only need to pick up a few stuff. So I'm just budgeting $80 for groceries this week. But normally, faithfully, it's like between 120 and 150 that I'll spend, depending on what we need. So let's just go ahead and total that up. That is 400 plus 38 plus 80. equals $518 for my fixed expenses or my fixed, bills. And one thing that I like about that I wanted to make sure that I put in this planner that I love, I have a remaining line. So when you're going through and doing your categories, you can go ahead and see how much you have. You'll know right before you even get to the next side. Like you can know right before you get to debt if you have enough money. So I'm working with $674. I'm starting with, subtract 518 from that, leaves me with $156. So from that $156, I need $85 to go ahead and go into my savings. So if I'm subtract the $85 from that, that leaves me with, let's see, $71. So this will save you some time because you can already see ahead, like depending on what you're starting with and what bills are in these categories, if you'll have enough money before you even get over to variable expenses and debt. So I have $71 that I can now apply to either debt or my variable expenses. I'm not paying any debt this paycheck. I'm going to do that next week, so I can go ahead and just put 0 for this, $0, which technically I should have did. It should have been the 156 down here and the 71. You know what? Because I did it backwards. Because remember, I start with my savings. I save first and spend the rest. So technically, I need to start with $674. Subtract. Let me do my calculator. Yeah, because that might be off. Let's get it right. So I'm starting with $674. So I have 589 left once I subtract the $85 from the 674. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and subtract the 518 from the 589. Subtract 518, which still leaves, I could have left that 71 there. Oh man, I should have known that. Okay, so I still have the $71. I know this may seem a little confusing. It's only because I'm starting with my savings category first. Normally, for most people, they start with their fixed bill. So that's why I didn't want to flip it in the planner, because most people start with their fixed bills, then go to savings maybe, or maybe they got debt first. So I just left the fixed category to be first. So we got the $71. I'm not paying any debt. So for my Klarnas, number one is $27. So this one is $27, and it is like 26 something, but like I said, I round up. And then the Amazon one, the second one, is $38, 37 and some change. So those two together equals $65. Okay, so if I subtract the 65 from the 71, that should leave me with $6. So go ahead and put that in there. That will leave me with $6. And I'm going to leave it in my checking account as a buffer. I like to have a buffer in my account every week or every paycheck, just in case life happens. Because, if I always say, if it can happen, it'll happen. And life is happening right now. So I just like to have a buffer. That's me personally. But if I don't use it by the next paycheck, I will take it and either roll it over into debt or savings, depending on my goals. Right now, I'm trying to save $900 for this quarter, so it'll probably more than likely go into savings. Okay, so I have $6. And before we go, or before I move on to the next thing, I do want to just, point out my hierarchy. Like if you have one of these, if your hierarchy is different, go ahead and just label. Like I like to say 1, I start with savings, and then I'll move to my fixed expenses. 2, then I do my debt because I still have debt. 3, and then 4. That's my hierarchy. So let me just go ahead and do this summary. I like to make sure that I do the summary because when I'm flipping through, it gives me a quick view of what's going on with this paycheck. So my income, as we said, was $674. In savings, we are budgeting $85. Fixed bills was $518, and debt is 0 this week. I'll do that next week. And variable expenses is $65. And let me go ahead and do that math again. So 674 minus 85 minus 518 minus 0 minus 65, $6. I got $6, y'all. I'm rich, I'm rich. All right, so I have $6. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna go ahead and pause this video, and I'm going to run to the bank, go pull out some cash, because I am stuffing these envelopes. So I do have my sinking funds and my saving challenges. I have cash envelopes for those. And what I do with those is I'll stuff them and unstuff them each quarter, at the end of each quarter, and then deposit them into my high yield savings account. I have like I said, I have like 2 or 3. I will put the money in there so I can start compounding and start getting the interest, because I can't just let it sit in there, sit in the envelope for a whole year and miss out on that money. But I do still want to engage and have the fun with the envelopes and stuff like that. I feel like it's motivating and it's fun for me, and I like doing it. So that helps me to save, but I can't let that stuff sit in there for no year or until it's done. Every quarter, I pull it out and I just deposit into the high yield savings account so I can start getting that interest. I purge and start over every quarter. So I shall be back in a second. Okay, so if you made it to the end of this video and you are feeling motivated to go ahead and do your weekly budget, baby girl, go do you. I am so proud of you. Just remember to do a paycheck budget, zero base. You can never go wrong. Write your paycheck amount. You're going to pay anything that is due before your next payday. And I challenge you to pick like 1 or 2 sinking funds and start small. Start where you are. That alone can change your whole year. Okay, friends, so that is it for my first paycheck budget of 2026. If you want, I can also do a separate video showing how I track my spending throughout the week, as well as how I come back in and I check in on my budget before I close it out. Like this video if you want more paycheck budgets, and subscribe if you're building your 2026 money routine with me, and comment, what category is the hardest for you? Is it groceries, kids, or eating out? For me, personally, it used to be Red Bull, but I am proud to say I left that behind in 2025. I have quit Red Bull, so it is no longer taking up a large chunk of my budget. Okay, friend. So until next time, plan better, budget smarter, digitally. Bye.